Welcome to Martini Time. It's that happy hour or happy 20 minutes of the day when I regenerate myself for the evening talk. Speaking of generators, you can't hear it, but I have a Honda generator in the backyard that I've been running today to burn off the old gas and to put in some new gas, because if a winter storm comes and we lose power, I want the thing to start, you know. And the biggest problem with generators when you let them sit is the gas gets bad. I put gas restorer in it, and that really helps. But this ethanol gas will deteriorate very quickly. I found out from past generators that I've lost. So I've got a generator running out there, and it creates energy, but it's dependent upon the fuel. So my question today, the title of this talk, is there such a thing as inexhaustible energy? This is in the world of myths. The fountain of youth is inexhaustible energy. Youth is inexhaustible energy. So I was talking to a friend about, he was talking about somebody who had plastic surgery and it messed up their face, so they were in a permanent smile and looked like a clown, you know. The clown has a permanent smile. And we're very sensitive to faces. And I said, so the restoration of youth then is the plastic surgeon has become the magician or the alchemist who can turn your old face into a young face. But is it inexhaustible energy, you see? It's a form. So people chase inexhaustible energy in form. But what is it that creates form? Now, if you could find what creates form, then you found the fountain of youth. So, the myths are full of this quest. I remember reading about it when I used to read in my youth about the exploration of Africa, and there was a great quest in the Victorian age of the British Empire to find the source of the Nile. That was like, so somebody finds the source of the Nile. And in Hindu mythology, you have the source of the Ganges as a sacred space. And you have the statue of Shiva with the Ganges coming out of his head. The headwaters of the source of the river. The inexhaustible source. And even in our culture today, we've discovered that our fossil fuel is running out. And the gas fumes are killing us, just like the generator out there. It's going to run out of gas. And if I put that generator in a room and shut the door, I'd be dead, you see. So we're in a search now for inexhaustible energy, like wind, solar power. Nuclear power is inexhaustible, but it has a side effect. There's no side effect to wind or solar, you see, or whatever we can invent. I'm sure technology is going to come up with an answer to this, to find they're already coming, more batteries, everything. Technology is basically is the inexhaustible source. Have you ever thought about that? And this is why we believe in science. This is why science has become our priest. Science has replaced religion, or paralleled it. So you've got religion and science, both of whom are offering the promised land, the utopia, the source of inexhaustible energy. The religion says it's God or Jesus. Science says it's science. Because science is always discovering new, whatever science creates, it has a side effect, so you have to discover something else to transcend the side effects. So it keeps on down, you see. But what is the inexhaustible source? Now, all of these are external myths, external quests in form, in things, you see. But this, what is the source of things? What is the source of form? Ah, now we have to go to Zen. Zen talks about emptiness. Talks about awakening prajna, the mind that does not rest on any form. Whoa! The mind that does not rest on any form must be the source of form. But then ideas are formed. So what is the source of ideas? Ah, is there a source of ideas that is not an idea? We should look, you see. Is there a source of thought that is not thought? Is there a source of concepts that is not a concept? You see, concept can't create concepts. This is why there's a certain fallibility in the idea that a robot can become, a computer can become creative, because the computer can't do anything that's not built into its program. So even 2001, investigated, remember that Space Odyssey, investigated that, where the computer tried to replace the creative mind, and it couldn't do it. So what is the source of ideas, form, you see? Well, it's not out there. All the quest for it to be out there in either a plastic surgery or going to the headwaters of the river or in a theory. Where is that? You see, it's not out there. It's in here. So the inexhaustible source is within. But what do we have to give up to find it? Well, if the source is the source of ideas, and wait a minute now, am I not an idea? I mean, me, I have an idea. Am I not a thing? A personality, that's a thing. It's a moving thing. I'm in history. I got patterns. People recognize me because of my pattern, you see. So it's not like you're seeing me for the first time. Some of you may be, but I mean, you're seeing me as a pattern. I'm same as yesterday, as today, this morning. You're not seeing me for the first time, so there's a pattern there, a trace, a track that makes me recognizable. But what is the source of that? Was it my birth? Is that my source? Is it something external, a God? Well, there's a split there now, you see. So what is the source? But that's all objective again. If you say, what is the source of me? That's. Or if I say, what's the source of you? You see, that's objective. That's form. Your form, and then I'm looking for it in form. You see, what is the source of all that? What is the source of form? Well, I have to look inside. But then I can't look because whatever I see is going to be a form. Catch-22. I can't look for the source of me because I'm looking for a form, an experience. What is the source of the quest? What is the source of the question? Well, you can't turn around and see it. But obviously, you are the source of the question. You are the source of you, and you experience the world, so you are the source of the world you experience. Everything you see is what you see, is what you perceive. You don't see what I perceive. You see what you perceive. So everything you perceive is framed in you are the perceiver, and what you perceive is the perceived. That's two. What is the source of the two? You see, there's no source there because the perceiver can't find the source of the perceived because you're just finding something you perceive. You see the tangle we get into here? I think I need a drink. See? So you start digging it. Most people don't go here because it's too, I don't know, confusing. But but we're all interested in it. As we get older, where did my energy go? As we get older, where did my youth go? As we get older, where did my passion go? My romance, my interest in life? Where did it all go, you see? The generator's running out of gas. The generator's running out of gas. And soon it will stop. You see. So that's kind of like the way we look at ourselves in life. Creates anxiety. Soon I'm going to stop. Does the source of me stop? If I am a thing, well then, when the thing, this body, when it dies, is that the end of me? Is that the end of the source of me? I don't know. I've never found the source of me. You see. So we're always kind of like running on empty. Remember the Seinfeld skit where Kramer wants to see how far they can go on the empty tank of gas? And they're so excited because they get one more inch, one more mile. And then the car runs out of gas and the car dealer is in it. And Kramer just gets out and says, well, goodbye. And the car dealer was believing in the inexhaustible source of energy, you see. Seinfeld is great mythology. So, how far can you go? How can you make the tank go, you see, before you run out of gas, you see? So this is kind of, how far can I go before I run out of gas, you see? Well, there's a limitation to that, you see, because it can only run as far as what's in the tank. And then I'm using it up all the time. This is conservatism. It's the idea that you've got one tank full of gas and you better conserve it. That's what conservatism means. You got one tank of gas and you better conserve it. So don't spend it loosely. Don't waste it. Don't give it away. No free lunch. Everybody works for it. Nothing wrong with that, but it's a point of view. It's like you got an inheritance. And you're not going to make any more money because you're a dumbass. So you better conserve what you got. You got to be invested and conserve it. This was the mantra of my family. If you have some money, get a CD. That was when CDs made money. You'd get a CD and you don't spend the principal. Well, there's a certain validity to that. But it's also a belief that there is no inexhaustible source of energy. It's also a belief that you only have so much gas in the tank. Don't waste it running around town. You see, don't sit there and gun the engine like a teenager, Be conservative. That's all you got. I'm just giving you this much allowance. Spend it wisely. But then the belief in the inexhaustible supply of energy, how does that fit in with conservatism? In other words, is this an either or? Either I just have so much gas in the tank, or can I create energy? Well, if I can create energy, then I can run that gas because I make more. It's like an artist. So an poet creates a poem. He doesn't cling to it. He puts it out there and it flies away like a bird. He knows where the source is, so he creates more poems. A cook makes cookies. Have some cookies. It's not like, well, I only got 30 cookies and I can give you one, but my God, this is the end of the cookies. There aren't any more cookies. The cook knows I can make more cookies. Have some cookies. And the more I give, the more cookies come up. Whoa. Is that the source? Is that the headwaters of the Nile? Is that the inexhaustible supply of energy? If you keep giving it away, it keeps reappearing? Whoa. That's very interesting. So if I keep giving away myself, I keep creating myself. Isn't that interesting? Life is inexhaustible. So the source is basically not that you find it, if you give it away. If you totally give it away without seeking a return for your investment, you see. If you give it away without expecting a little something on the side, you see, under the table, you see, if you do that, does that mean you're going to run dry, or does that mean your tank replenishes? Well, there's no way to find out. And you can't give it away in order to find out. I mean, I can't give something away and say, well, let's have an experiment. I'm just going to give this money away in order to see if it replenishes itself. Well, that doesn't work because there's a gaining idea in that. You're not giving it away. You're not giving away the idea that you need something in return. So if you give away the very idea that you're somebody who needs a profit, that needs to get something, if you give away that idea, well, then maybe you're getting close to the source. And even there, you can't experiment with it. There's no guarantee. There's no contract. There's no bargain. If I give myself away, do I get myself back? I'll try. If you guarantee I'll get maybe just a little bit of something back, you see. No guarantee. Step out. Give it up. Now what does that mean? That means death. Do I laugh like a joker? That means death, you see. Give it up with no guarantee there's anything you're getting back, that there's anything there. Give up all your gas. There's no guarantee that you won't be left with empty. There's no guarantee that the gas tank will restore. Pump the well dry. There's no guarantee that the well will not fill up again. No guarantee. So there's the dilemma, you see. Who will take the step and pump out the well with no guarantee that the water will come back? Who will do that, you see? Well, then now we get around to Jesus. So anyway, so I'm checking my little timer here. I don't trust that I can hear the ring. So here we get into faith. My favorite movie of faith, believe it or not, is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. When he has to get the Holy Grail, not to get enlightenment or money or whatever he thought he was doing for him, but to heal his father. He had to get across the abyss. And there's nothing there. And the code, the treasure map, the code, excuse me, was illogical, was a poem, a code. He didn't know what it meant. But he trusted his intuition and he stepped out. No guarantee that there was anything there. And a bridge appeared. So that stepping out, you see, is the source of inexhaustible energy. That stepping out is eternal youth. Now the body may get old and wrinkled and fall like a leaf off the tree, but you don't. You as the source of form. You as the source of the world. You are the world and the world is you. I keep saying when I start these talks, may forget today, you are the world and the world is you. You are the center of the world. You are the source of the world and the source is you. You are the source of your world and the world is you. Now that source is not a thing. That source is not an idea. That source is not a personality. It's not a body. It's empty. It's empty. So it's out of emptiness you create the world. And if you give the world away, emptiness is always there. You can't get rid of emptiness. You can't divide it. You can't chop it up. So if you take your refuge in emptiness, you take your refuge in death. Because there's nobody there. You take your refuge in emptiness. You take your refuge in giving it up, letting go. If you take refuge in letting go, you're taking refuge in emptiness. There's nobody there. You've let it all go. Down to the last drop. Down to the last drop of gas. And miraculously, the generator keeps going. See you tomorrow morning.